What does Sade Sate mean? Well, it's a famous predictive indicator in Vedic astrology. Basically, it's the period when Saturn enters the sign before your moon sign and then crosses through your moon sign and then crosses through the sign after your moon. It's a period of about 7.5 years, maybe 7.25 years, depending on the movements of Saturn. And essentially it's often likened to sort of descending into a pit. So when Saturn enters the sign before your moon, as it were, you start to descend into the pit. And when Saturn reaches your moon in your birth chart, that's the bottom of the pit, and from then on you commence the slow climb out, about 3.75 more years. How are we to understand it? Well, traditional Vedic astrology explanations talk about a period where one is progressively cut off from God's grace, but with the divine purpose that we therefore see the limitations of our own persona, our own perspectives, our own understandings of life. That we therefore see what has been wrong with what we've been attached to up to now. And it takes us time to see the limitations of our consciousness, of what we've been attached to. And that's, as it were, the period of descending into the pit. Very often there's a death in our circle, in our family, in our life. Very often there's a big move of house. And so often we get separated from people and situations and places. In fact, we get separated from situations, places and people that we shouldn't anymore be attached to, maybe should never have been attached to in the first place, ideally. And of course we don't really understand what's going on. And so, well, in Vedic books they talk about like one being a rat in a cage, reaching for sweet things, you know, beyond the bars that we cannot reach. And so it's so worthwhile to be told by a Vedic astrologer that you are entering Sade Sate. It puts meaning on the whole phenomena. It puts timing on the whole phenomena. And remember, an astrologer is only as good as his level of consciousness. So quite a few of the textbooks describe Sade Sate in terms of Saturn will beat you with a stick and that sort of thing. But of course, the higher consciousness is for one to connect to one's true self and thus to be able to observe the workings of one's mind and the outfolding of great scripts which we in fact incarnated to live through, to come to understand, to be able to transcend. One's level of consciousness is crucial as one enters Sade Sate, as one lives through these experiences. I've experienced 2 Sade Sate periods. They occur once every 29 years in one's life. And so often they are painful separations. But in fact, when one looks back, one so needed to be separated from the situations, the mindsets that one was in. And always the turning point is so important for charting our own individual way up out of the pit to a style of life, a situation of life that is so much more on course for our Dharma, for the reason we're here. Now, you're very welcome to get in touch with me for an astrology reading. My astrology readings website is www.starwheelastrology.com. Or, of course, to join my wonderful courses. My Vedic Astrology course is www.mastervedicastrology.com. And I have a Western Astrology course as well, www.enlightenedastrologycourse.com. Just to close, I want to refer to some of the technicalities that modify the model of Sade Sate. Well, first of all, there are 4 so-called exception signs. So if your moon is in the exception signs, yes, you experience all the phenomena, the deaths, the separation, the anguish, the yearning, but also you experience gain, important gain during the period. Another important modification is an assessment of the strength Saturn will bring to the particular houses involved. The house before your birth moon, the house of your birth moon, and the house after your birth moon. It's rated in terms of bindus, and my Vedic Astrology course or my reading cover this. Of course, one has to take into account also the other features like transits and predictive periods that are occurring. But what I really want to try and get through in this period is that this phenomena of understanding called Sade Sate really works. It's so important for you to know when your Sade Sate periods are. And it's so important for you to have the consciousness imparted of how you are to understand what you will go through. So do get in touch with me for a reading or enroll on one of my courses. My name's Michael Conneely and my contact details are in the notes to this YouTube posting. So all blessings and thank you very much.